All right, let's get started on this. The program that you're going to use is called AVID Media Composer. It's this purple little icon right here. We're going to double click into that. This is the program that we use to edit all of our films for this class, Tiger News, FNL, everything. So we're going to teach you this program a little bit today. Wait for this thing to load up. You guys okay?
The waiting game for AVID.
Media Composer 6. This is used in KARE 11's news trucks. Fox has this in their studios. So we're pretty fortunate to have this at Farmington High School. All right, the first window that's going to pop up, it's called Select Project. This is where you're going to, when you get into your group is going to say, well, let's call our movie such and such a movie. You're going to hit New Project. Make sure that it's in Shared, and then you hit New Project, and then we've got this new project. We put in the name right here, name of your movie, and then 30i NTSC. That stays right there, and then we're filming this in 16:9. Leave it in 16:9 because that's how you filmed it, and then you would hit OK. All right, and then it's going to show up in all this list of projects here. This is all the stuff that we've done this trimester. So you just highlight it in blue and then hit OK. All right. Any questions on this first project window? No questions? All right. Pretty self-explanatory. Do not put your movie into private. Okay. We don't want it in there. We've had problems in the past putting it in there. And you do not select external. So the only spot that this should go is go in Shared. All right, I'm going to pull up a project that actually has some footage into it so we can get you guys some training here. We're going to go through the windows here first. This window right here is called the project window. It's got bins, it's got settings. You can set a whole bunch of different settings on AVID. Our effect tab has about 3,000 different effects that you can do. Formatting, usage, and info, that's a whole bunch of binary DOS stuff that really doesn't affect you at all. The next window right here, this is called your source window. Source. Everybody say source. Source. Very good. This one is called record. Everybody say record. Record window. And then down here we've got our timeline. This is where you're going to build all of your clips for the movie. All right, so if we jump back up to our project window right here, there's a little black box right here. Everybody see this black box? If we double click this black box, what's going to have it's going to open up this window right here. This is called the super bin. Everybody say super bin. Super bin. Very good. The super bin is where you have all of your sequences are saved, your sound effects, your movies, your raw clips, everything that is going to go into your sequence as you're building it is in your super bin. Okay? So we are going to double click. When you want to double click the actual little file here. There's a little box here. If you want to double click the audio file, you double click on the waveforms. Sequences. If you want to see a sequence, you click and you drag it over to, what's this window called? Very good. It's called the record window. All right. So if you drag and drop it, it's going to load it in your record window. Bring in Morgan's here. There's Morgan's sequence for her test. All right. So what we've got a video clip, we've got some sequences, we've got an audio clip. Questions on the super bin? Everybody's with us 100% still? Excellent. All right, let's bring in some raw footage. I filmed this raw footage at my in-laws' farm a couple weeks ago. It was for the video editing test that we had a couple weeks ago in video 1. Actually, it was last week. But I just took some shots around their farm, some silos, some barns. They have some augers, some tractors. They've got a dog, my nephews, my nieces. All right, so this is a lot of the shots that we had. And then this little sync slate, or clapboard we call it. I told each student what to do with each shot before the shot actually occurs. So use 5 good seconds of panning from this establishing shot. If you know what panning is going from left to right on the screen. Okay, so let's just go into the first shot here. I'm going to kind of show you some of the buttons while we edit this thing together. The space bar will start the footage, and it can also stop it. Okay, so the space bar starts and stops. Start and wait for it. Clapboard will go out and stop. That's the space bar. All right, so then the next button here, back in the olden days when we had VCRs, we had a button called rewind. It would bring the tape all the way back to the beginning, and then fast forward goes all the way to the end of the tape. All right, so you guys really don't use VHS anymore, but we use them on this AVID system. The next button over, step backwards 1 frame. Does anybody know or remember how many frames are in 1 second? 30, very good, 30 frames. Okay, so if we go backwards 1 frame, you can kind of see this twig here. I shot that on purpose. If I go backwards 1 frame, you can kind of see this twig moving kind of in slow motion. So each one of these frames, 30 frames make up 1 second. So if I go backwards, 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 you can see the camera is going down. And based on all your experiences with After Effects, you know that there's 30 frames in 1 second. So I want to find the beginning of this shot, which comes in after the clapboard goes away. So wait for the camera to start its move. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So step backwards 1 frame, step forwards 1 frame. Any questions on any of these 4 tools here? Rewind, fast forward, step backwards 1 frame, forward 1 frame. No questions? No questions. Okay, next tool here on this palette. It's called Mark In. This is where we tell the computer where we want that shot to start. And you can kind of see as that clapboard goes out of the shot, you guys will have clapboards on all your movie clips. When the clapboard goes away, you can kind of see that I'm readjusting the camera here, and then I start my beautiful boom up shot to the wonderful outdated silos. Okay, I meant to have those twigs in the shot. It just adds artistic value to the shot. Okay, so if I want to go backwards here, go step backwards 1 frame. If I hold it down, it just goes backwards a little bit slow motion. Kind of fumbling around. There's the clapboard. Okay, wait for it to start. That would be my Mark In. So if I hit Mark In, this is the beginning of that shot that goes up, that points up to that silo. Mark In, that's the beginning of the shot. Everybody understand that? We're telling the computer, start that shot. Don't take the clapboard. Don't take my fumbling around with the camera. Start it right here. Does everybody understand that concept? Okay, so it's kind of like in After Effects, you're cropping out that footage. So here, we're kind of cropping out that footage, and we're telling the computer to start it at that point. That's a really, really important concept to understand. Is there anybody that doesn't understand the Mark In concept? Okay, all right, so if I hit the space bar, what does the space bar do? It plays it. So let's play. We're going to watch the video here. Booms up to the silos. There's my dog. And space bar stops it. This is where I want the shot to stop. Okay? So everything else after that point isn't going to go in. The next button right here is play. I showed you that already. And then mark out. This is where we want the shot to stop. All right? So you've got your first shot selected, right? You've got a beginning and you've got an end. Now what do you do with it? This is where we want to start building our movie. So we're going to bring up an empty sequence. Oh, that's what we did yesterday. New sequence. All right. So what I did here was I right-clicked inside the super bin. The super bin holds what? Does anybody remember what the super bin has inside of it?
Everything.
Everything. Someone said everything. Be more specific. What does the super bin hold? All my footage.
Footage,
Sound. Anything else? Compositions, which is also called sequences. Very good. All right, so I'm going to name this second hour AVID lecture. Okay? I'm going to hit enter. And it saves it inside my super bin. If you also look over here, it says second hour AVID lecture. Whatever you have selected over here for your sequence, it's also going to show up right here. Okay? So our first shot is selected. Now there's two ways to get this footage down into your timeline right here. There's a button called Splice In. You can push that, and it's going to bring that footage down into your timeline. So you've just laid the first shot of your movie into your sequence, or your timeline. We call it sequence, timeline, same thing. Okay? Another way that you can do it is called overwrite, and that's this red button. Okay? I push that one in, it brings it in. These two buttons they do the same thing, but there's a few differences between the two, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So splice in, if I hit that, it brings it in a third time. That same clip is now in 3 times. Everybody get that? I hit 3 times up here. Let me hit it one more time up here. I'll put this at the very end. Overwrite. Now it's in there 4 times. Okay? You can put it in there as many times as you want. Let me pull up a different shot. We're going to go to the next shot here. Let's go to the shot of the dogs here. I like this one right here. We got the dog with the ball. He runs towards me. That's Hunter. That's my brother-in-law's dog. All right, so we're going to hit. This is where I want. Here, I'll just show you the shot here first. Happy dog wagging his tail. See my ball? Like my ball? He liked to fetch it too. Okay, so I'm going to hit the J key. The J key will actually play your footage backwards. And the more times that you hit the J key, it will go faster. All right? So I'm going to hit mark in. This is where I want the shot to start. The dog, I'm going to go closer to Hunter. He's going to be showing me his ball. So I'm going to hit, if I want my footage to play, I can either hit play here or I can hit what? Spacebar. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to go backwards. I want to end the shot with him with the ball in his mouth. So I'm going to step backwards. Put the ball back in your mouth and so you can go right down to the frame here, however you want. If you want the ball in mid-motion like that, you can get precise that way, which is something you really can't do with After Effects unless you zoom all the way in, which is kind of annoying. All right, so I want to end the shot with the ball in his mouth, right there. All right, this is where I want the shot to end, right? Yes, Mr. Tauchi. Thank you. All right, so we're going to hit what? Mark out. Now we just told the computer that's the end of that shot. When you start filming all of your green screen stuff for your movie, you're going to have an ending part of your shot. Whether someone says a line, they do an action on the green screen, whatever it is, you're going to have a mark in point and you're going to have a mark out point. You guys okay up there? You guys okay? Okay, thank you. All right, so you're going to have a mark in and a mark out point. When you put the mark out point, you see these little alligator teeth right here? That's telling you, hey, that's the end of this clip. And if you go to the very beginning, let's go back here, up, right there. This is the beginning of the clip. So you see those teeth on each side. All right? So now I want to show you the difference between splice in and overwrite. Remember we've got the 4 shots of the silo going up, 3rd and 4th. So in between the 2nd and the 3rd one here, notice I'm on the keyboard, my left and right arrow, I'm pushing those and the shot is changing from the last one to the next one. So if you look up here, you see this little L right here? I'm circling it with my mouse. This little L signifies this. Let me show you. This is called the scale bar. We're going to zoom into this. And if you notice this little blue cursor line is sitting right on this line, this is the beginning of that shot. That's what that L is telling you. That's the beginning of that shot. So I want to insert a shot of that dog right before this. So that can be done. So we're going to set a mark in point. Now I've told you about these tools here on the source window side. Now you've got this record window side, right? This is called the record window, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so it's the same exact buttons. Rewind, fast forward, step backwards 1 frame, step forwards 1 frame, mark in, play, mark out, mark the clip. And then this is called add edit. That one's not over there. But we want to tell the computer where the next shot is going. So we're going to hit mark in. This is where the shot of the dog is going to go. But if you notice, right here, this is another shot here, right? Do we want to keep that? Sure, let's keep it, because we've got 4 of those shots together. So this is the difference between splice in and overwrite. If I hit splice in here on this shot of Hunter, the dog, splice in, here's what's going to happen. Now we've got 5 shots here. We've got silo 1, silo 2, shot of Hunter, silo 3, and silo 4. So what happened here is that the shot of the dog got inserted in between shot 2 and shot 3 of the silo. The reason why it got inserted in between is because we hit splice in. It's kind of like if you take a piece of Scotch tape and you cut it in half, and you take the tape and you move it over, and you take the other one and you move it over, and then you put another piece of tape in between those two, what you're doing is you're making that gap to splice it in. Okay, does everybody understand that? Or you could use a piece of paper, cut a piece of paper in half, 2 white sheets of paper, cut it in half, take one sheet, take another sheet, separate them out by 6 inches, then cut like a little piece of red paper. Put that red piece of paper in between the 2 white pieces of paper. That's called splicing it in. You're not cutting anything from the white sheets. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's called splice in. We electronically inserted that shot in between these four shots. Now let me show you what splice in does, or overwrite, I'm sorry. We'll get a shot of Jonah here. Get a nice, I like this shot. It was a beautiful day this day that we went there on the farm. He was mad at me at this point. You can't tell, but he's like, Uncle Mark, get that camera out of my face. It's like, Jonah, I just need like 5 seconds of you. Just, he's like, fine. Ah. Okay, so here's Jonah. At least he didn't like stick his tongue out or anything. All right, so find my shot. I'm going to hit mark in. So I milked this shot for all it was worth. It's like, as long as he's not yelling at me, I was going to take it as long as I could get it. Okay, so that's good enough. I started the shot. I put a mark in. I want to end the shot. I'm going to hit mark out. Okay? Any questions on marking in and mark out? You guys understand that concept, right? Okay. So let me show you what happens here. I'm going to go right in this really nice shot of Hunter. Go to the beginning of this. And you know that if I hit the left and right arrow here, we've got the end of the silo and the beginning of Hunter. The beginning of Hunter is the L right here, right? And if I go backwards 1 frame, here's what also happens here. You have this backwards L. Does anybody want to guess what this backwards L represents? The end, yep, very good. The end of that shot. Okay, so I'm going to hit mark in on my record side. Another thing that you can do is you can hit mark in down here. You can hit it here, or you can hit it here. You have to think, you have to wrap your head around this, that this timeline and the record window are up here, they coincide with one another. Whatever you do down on your timeline also is displayed up in your record side window. They're related, they coincide, okay? Everybody get that? So if I scrub through this, you can see all the changes happening on the record side. So the timeline and the record side are connected, coincide with one another, they're related. So we have our mark in. I've got my shot of Jonah, who's really, really mad at me. I've got my really, really nice shot of Hunter here with the ball in his mouth. Here's what happens when you push overwrite on the clip and you don't hit splice in. Splice in, remember, will save your footage and pushes it all over. Whereas overwrite, watch, overwrite. I just hit overwrite. Now I wanted that shot of the dog to stay in there. Here's what happens. Silo 2, shot of Jonah, silo 3. The shot of the dog is completely gone. The reason why it's gone is because I hit overwrite. Just, I mean, if you think of the word called overwrite, think of it. Overwrite. If you write a research paper and then you take a magic marker and you overwrite it with a black magic marker, can you read the words? Nope, it's gone, right? Okay, so the same thing here with this red arrow tool. Overwrite is going to cover over the top of that dog shot, which is what just happened. So let's go to edit. Yes, question?
Could you leave a mark out in a certain section and overwrite that specific part of a film?
Yep, the question is, can you leave a mark out in a certain section and then leave the rest of that? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and I'll talk about that here in a second. We can go up to edit. There's a couple ways you can undo this. AVID will undo the last 25 commands that you just did. Okay, so you can go up to edit, undo overwrite. Okay, now Hunter's back. So are all 4 of our silo shots. Or you can go to Control Z on the keyboard. If you're a shortcuts person, Control Z will also bring that back. Okay, so let me go to, let's splice this shot of Jonah in here. We've got our mark in. If we splice it in, we've got silo 1, silo 2, shot of Jonah, Hunter, silo, and another silo. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 shots. All right. So splicing it in will push it all over. Overwrite will get rid of it. Let's bring up another shot. Bring up this shot of the tractor here. Did you see what that direction was? Create a 5-second Ken Burns effect shot. You guys know what a Ken Burns shot is, don't you? Right? Okay, space bar, stop, mark in. I made them put the Ken Burns effect on it. I just sat on that shot of the tractor. Mark in, mark out. We've set that shot. And then let's go to in between Jonah and Hunter here. I'm going to answer Aaron's question. So let's say we want the shot to start before the dog. So here again, I can hit mark in or I can hit mark in because these 2 windows are the same. They're related. They coincide with one another. And then we want to, let's go to, if we just, let's say we want 2 seconds of the tractor. Okay? We're going to go back to the mark in, which is, go back the other way. There it is. See the alligator teeth here? We're going to go for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Those are kind of some generous 2 seconds. All right, so we can hit mark out. And now if you notice, it highlights that little section and it highlights it in blue. Now if I hit overwrite, what's going to happen?
That section's going to be overwritten.
Yep, that section of Hunter is going to be overwritten with what?
With the tractor.
With the tractor, yep. So let's try that. Overwrite, it gets rid of it. Tractor shot, 2 seconds, 1, 2, and then it goes back to Hunter. Okay, so I can do Control Z to undo that, or I can go to Edit, Undo Overwrite. Now, let's say I want to keep this shot of Hunter, the whole entire thing. He's walking towards me. I want to keep Jonah in there, but I want to insert that shot of the tractor. So knowing what you know with splice in and overwrite, and I have my mark in and my mark out, if I hit splice in here, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go from Jonah to the tractor to the full shot of Hunter. Splice in, Jonah, tractor, 2 seconds, Hunter way back, and he comes back. Okay? That answer your question? Okay. What other questions do you have? I just showed you guys the basic fundamentals of this program. Mark in, mark out, overwrite. Mark in, mark out, overwrite. You could make a full movie, a pretty nice movie, just by doing what you just did. But I'm going to take you guys about 4 steps further. What questions do you have about Superbin? Does everybody understand that the source window where the tractor is sitting right now, that's just like your raw footage, where your raw footage comes in. Okay? You see all the clapboard stuff. You see the camera repositioning, all that. It's basically junk. And you're sifting through the junk trying to find your golden nuggets, your nice shots. Okay? Everything that you see happening on the timeline is displayed up on the record side window. What questions do you have? Yes?
How long will the movie be?
4 minutes, about 4 or 5 minutes, roughly. It takes about 4 hours for every finished minute of video. There's 26 days left of school. So lots of academic support time in here.
Oh, so this is our final?
This is kind of your final project. Yep. I know. But you can take this class again if you want. Take it advanced level. Any other questions before I get you to level 2? Joe, you have any questions? Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to do a chroma key shot. Let's see. It's on my... Actually, you know what? I think I saved the chroma key shot on... All right. I have to go to Google. I'm going to get a chroma key shot here quick. Yeah, question?
Can you put After Effects things into this AVID too? I'm pretty sure you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does AVID like GIFs?
You can. Yeah. Yep. Green screen movies, images. Let's do. That's from 24. Everybody like 24? I did not realize that this is a green screen shot. If you guys like Jack Bauer, 24 is like one of the best shows in the world. All right, so we're going to go to the desktop. We're going to save this. It's called Screenshot. It's a PNG. You know what? I'm not sure if I don't. Let me go to. Let's.
Superman.
Ooh, that one.
Ooh, it's Joker hanging upside down.
Oh, here, a guy with a broom. This, you cannot go wrong with this.
No, you can't. It's the best, isn't it?
You kind of can if you fail something.
Oh, this is a PNG too.
Why don't you like PNGs too?
Well, we'll try it. I'll just minimize this. We'll go back. Import. I think AVID will take this in. Green, guy with the broom.
I might not like it.
Matte key. Okay, it works. It's fine. Okay, we've got our green screen shot. That's all that matters. Let me show you how I got that in here really quick in case you need to do that. Inside of your Superbin, right-click, import, and then you just go to the desktop where you save that image, and then you click OK, or you select it and hit Open. Okay. All right, we've got our guy sweeping the studio, it looks like. And so this picture from Google Images, when you bring this in, it makes it a video clip. You can see this blue cursor line, it's moving. All right? So we're going to hit Mark In. We'll put it in for, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. Here's the scientific way of getting 10 seconds of your shot in. Mark In, and then on your numeric keypad, hit +1000, enter. There's 10 seconds. And then hit Mark Out. We're going to put that chroma key shot right in after the tractor. But before we do that, chroma key shots in AVID are built on 2 layers. Okay? Just like After Effects is built on 2 layers. In order for your green screen shots to work in AVID, you have to have 2 layers. So what I'm going to do here on my timeline, anywhere on the timeline here, could be here, here, on the clips, doesn't matter. You're going to right click and you're going to go up to New Video Track. Everybody understand that? Right click, New Video Track. And we can add another one. We can add as many as we want. New Video Track. You can have as many audio tracks too. When you start bringing your sound effects in and your music, right click, New Audio Track, and you want to select mono. You don't select stereo, you will have so many audio problems if you select stereo. Always, always, always select mono. Okay? All right, so we're going to bring in the shot of this guy sweeping the studio right after the tractor. We've got our mark in. This is the beginning of the tractor shot, so I'm going to go right before that. Mark in. We're going to bring it in for 10 seconds. We don't have to tell it to go for 10 seconds. It's going to already know that we want this whole thing in. And we're going to splice in because I don't want to take any of this footage out. So splice it in. Okay, there's one problem that's already happened. The green screen footage on the timeline has to be up on video layer track 2. All right, so here's how you do this. You can go to your scale bar right here. You can drag that open. And then grab your red arrow here. Usually it's a red arrow. You can grab this clip and move it up. Just be really careful when you do that you go straight up because you don't want to have these little gaps right here. So what just happened here is a little gap occurred. So you want to bring that back and close all your gaps because otherwise you're going to have little black blinks in your movie. So you want to try to avoid that.
Does AVID already know it as a green screen shot?
AVID kind of realizes that, but I'm going to tell it otherwise. And it already put this effect on here, so I'm wondering, let me double check here something. Tools, effect editor. See, this matte key is not going to work. Sorry, I know that some of you guys like this shot of the guy sweeping the studio, but
apparently it was from Life of Pi.
I got crying.
it's a JPEG. Desktop, green screen. No, okay. Cancel, green screen. All right, back to AVID. Right click inside my super bin, import, green screen, right there, open. All right. Okay. We're going to hit mark in. I'm just going to, here's a good example of replacing this shot. I'm going to go to the very beginning of this green screen shot. I'm going to hit mark in, go to the end of it. I'm going to hit mark out. Okay, now it selects that whole entire block. And let me just show you what happens here. I'm going to hit overwrite, and it gets rid of that whole entire thing. Okay. Plus, it also put that green screen shot on video track 1. Where does green screen shots have to be?
2.
Layer 2. Okay. Yes.
Can't you unclick the sides? The left. Can't you unclick the layers like on the left side?
Yes. Yep.
So that way it just automatically goes.
Yep, you can. When this whole entire track selection, the audio, all the video tracks are selected blue, it will wipe out everything if you hit overwrite. Another thing here, this little handle right here, as Joe is stating, I was going to get to that later, but I'll do it. No, that's all right. It's fine. This little it's this little video 1 handle. If we point that up to video track 2, that's where the video is going to go. It's only going to go on video track 2. But if you notice that A1, A2 is selected, that's audio. That's for hearing. A1, A2, and then we've got V3 and we've got video track 4. If all we want to select is video track 2 and wipe out this shot right here, this guy sweeping, that's not going to work because it's a matte key. We can't use matte key. We want to put this shot in place of it. So I don't want to use splice in because splice in will do what? It will push it over, right. So I want to hit overwrite, and it's going to cover over the top of that, and it gets to the guy in the studio filming the green screen. Okay, now we're going to put a piece of video underneath this green screen, and then I'll show you how to key out. Let's key it out first. So here we're gonna key out this green screen. So we're gonna go up to this is our project window. Remember that? We're going to click on this purple box, and we're going to go to Key, K-E-Y. And we're going to select Spectramat. Spectramat. Everybody say Spectramat.
Spectramat.
Very good. I figure that if you say the word, you're going to make more connections when you actually get on here and start editing. Spectramat, this is a filter. It's an effect. You're going to click and you're going to drag this on top of this green screen shot. Okay? Nothing's going to happen until we go into Effect Editor and start changing some of the functions on it. So we're going to go to Tools, go to Effect Editor, and then we're going to, there's a little, this eyedropper right here. If we click down and we hold, we want to go sample the color that we're going to try to key. So if I select this guy's red shirt, if you look right here, over here, it's going to be red. But I want to select this chroma key green. So I'm going to put my cursor on top of that, my eyedropper. I'm still holding down my mouse. You can't tell, but I am. I'm going to let go, and now the background behind him is black. It really does a nice job. Sometimes it does a better job than After Effects. Well, why don't we just use AVID all the time? Right? Someone's thinking it. All right, so we've got our black, but we're going to go in and we're going to fine-tune that in a second. I'm going to bring in some video behind it just so that you can see. Let's use Tyler. This is my other nephew. Okay. Mark in. He's talking. We're going to put him on that big black screen back there. Mark in, mark out. And then the video footage, when you guys start filming your shots, the backgrounds or your moving backgrounds are going to go on video track 1. And all of your green screen shots are going to go on video track 2. So we're going to point this handle down to video 1. We're going to go to mark in, because that's where we want the shot to start. And mark, let's bring it back 1. Mark out. Notice how I put a mark in on this one, and I went back up here to this one. I'm like all over the place when I'm editing. So, okay, so I've got Tyler here. I'm going to put him underneath the green screen. I'm going to overwrite. So now what we've got Tyler. The reason why you're not seeing that green screen shot is because of this little television. Everybody see this little TV where my mouse is? If I shut that TV off, you're not going to see anything. So many times Video 1 students are editing in here and everything is gone. They can see their sequence down below, but they can't see anything up on their record side window. So this little TV right here, okay, you've got to have that on. And you have to have the topmost layer, the TV. Each layer has its own television. So if you had 10 video layers in here, video layer 10, that television will have to be on in order to see everything underneath it. Okay? All right, so we've got Tyler in here on the green screen. Pretty cool, right? So now we want to kind of fine-tune Tyler. We want to push his little shot up. So here's how you do that. You're going to go into Tools, go into Effect Editor, which you're going to go to Tools 95,000 times an hour, because that's the tool that you mostly use during the hour when you're editing. Go to Tools, go to Effect Editor, and we will select, let's see, where is, oh, there it is. Effect Editor. Okay, when nothing shows up on your Effect Editor, you have the wrong, layer selected. So we want to select that layer, go back to Tools, go back to Effect Editor. Green screen. Oh, you know what? Okay, forgot something. All right, so looking at this green screen shot, you notice that you can't see Tyler's mouth, right? I want to push that shot up, but we have to apply an effect to Tyler where he's standing on the grass. We have to put a picture-in-picture effect onto that in order for us to move it. So to do that, we're going to go to Blend, blend, and we're going to go to picture in picture, and we're going to drag this effect on top of that video clip. And it's going to drop it back 50%. We're going to go to Tools, going to go to Effect Editor, going to go to Scaling, going to make that a little bit bigger. And then we can also go to, we can actually physically move this shot up to where we want it. And then let's make it a little bit bigger. You guys know how I love black sides there. I don't like black sides. Right there. Okay, so now if I play this back, we've got our guy on the green screen, he's filming, and we've got our chroma key shot, and Tyler's talking. Okay, we can kind of clean up this chroma key shot also. I didn't show you this yet. Let's go into, we're going to select this green screen layer. We're going to point this video 1 layer up to video track 2. And we're going to go to Tools, go to Effect Editor, and then we're going to turn on, you're going to recognize this, Show Alpha. Remember this? What do we want to do with this shot?
Make the whites white and the blacks black.
Very good. Make the whites white and the blacks black. So to do that, you have about 8 different things to adjust here. And you just kind of play around with the settings here until you get the white, their whitest, and their blacks, their blackest. Inner softness. Take that down.
We have a minute, by the way, Tom.
Thank you.
All right, never mind. How do you
All right, we will continue this tomorrow. Thanks, Joe. All right, so we clean this up, take off Show Alpha, we put the chroma key shot back on. If we play that back, everything is playing. We have Tyler talking, and we've got the guy in the studio working on the shot. That concludes Mr. Tauchi's observation for Ms. Snowback. Thank you for watching, and good night.